Hey everybody, it's PartyElite. Welcome back to our Dark Heresy beta gameplay miniseries, where we've just started gathering the first clues for our first case in service of the Lord Inquisitor. Heresy is clearly afoot, and so I'm here to hopefully amputate said foot. We've just finished interrogating this witness here, but rather than set him free, or set him free, if you catch my meaning, we've asked him to stay put so that we can come back and question him a bit further later. I feel like we'll uncover some additional evidence, and he might be able to shine a light on any remaining nooks and crannies of darkness. Let's, with that said, take a quick look at our journal here and see if we have any immediate next steps presented to us. So, first of all, there's this missing persons situation as part of our inquisitorial case, and then there's this Echo of the Unearthed, which I suppose is in parallel with this inquisitorial case, as it's part of my work here with Inquisitor Millicentilia. Examine the excavation site. Workers, guards, and members of the Adeptus Mechanicus have disappeared from the excavation initiated by Inquisitor Millicentilia. A visual inspection of the site should be carried out, followed by a reconstruction of the events that took place here. And if we take a look at this missing persons case over here, following the seaquake in the Maris Portum Sectoris Hab Zone, the number of missing persons has risen sharply and now includes Inquisitor Millicentilia's workers. The circumstances surrounding the disappearance of the workers and local residents must be established. So here again, we have to conduct an investigation at the excavation site. So these are quite clearly tied together. We've already spoken to this witness here, but we must also discuss what happened at the abandoned camp with the Inquisitor's associate who was exploring the excavation. Fair enough. And we must use a Hollow Invoker to reconstruct the events that took place at the camp and submit a verbal report to Inquisitor Millicentilia. Very well, let's take a quick peek at the map over here and see if that points anything out to us. Just some loot and a way out to the lower town. This is just the upper level of the excavation, so I suppose we must just spiral downwards. Hopefully just literally and not metaphorically. With that, let's get a move on. I mean, let's go ahead and check out the goods over here first. There might be something of value. And
once.
God knows we're not rich enough to leave that kind of loot behind, right? Let's make our way over. I just want to make a quick note, by the way. I have adjusted the audio settings ever so slightly for this episode, just to make things a bit easier on the editing side of things, because going back and forth between my voice and the voice talent from the game was a lot of legwork, and it was very easy to potentially miss one of those transitions and the audio kind of leveling back and forth in the previous episode. That was madness. So I've made some general adjustments. Hopefully it works out for the better, but let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And apart from that, folks, before we actually head down to the lower level, just want to mention really quickly, if you've been enjoying the series thus far, and if you would in fact like to see, yes, more of Dark Heresy, especially in its beta format on the channel, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. It does make a very big difference in just letting me know what people are enjoying on the channel, letting me know what I should do more or less of, and how I should go about doing it. I do read through all of the comments, so share your thoughts and opinions down below. Apart from that as well, if you've been watching along but you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to consider subscribing, because I do intend to cover Dark Heresy on the channel in great depth now and then when it releases in full. But also, this is a channel where you'll see a lot of similar games. cRPGs, tactical games, strategic games, that sort of thing. With that said, let's go ahead down to the lower level. What do we have before us? Not too much to kick things off. A couple of points to investigate. Let's start with this. Knife marks on the inside of the vat. Someone tried to scrape off the hardened leftover porridge. Oh, that's disgusting. What do we have here? Quick examination. The tracks left by the steel-toed work boots are intermingled with numerous other prints. It is difficult to work out what happened here and the chronology of events. Very well. Why don't we go ahead and give it a scan.
Multiple prints detected on the bedrock and surrounding area. Initiating scan for further analysis.
Let's go ahead and install the Hollow Invoker over here. Hollow Invoker. I keep saying Holo. Hollow Invoker. And see what it reveals. Nothing? Or do I need to install a few of them? Maybe that's the case. Hopefully that
No
wasn't wasted.
sense in delaying.
What do we got here?
Registry.
I see you bear the pendant of Inquisitor Millicentilia. Greetings, emissary.
Well, that sort of escalated.
May he steal our hearts, so that we might banish all doubt of the righteousness of humanity. May he grant us the strength to bring just retribution upon the enemies of humanity.
Sauron recites his prayer in a cold voice, keeping his eyes locked on the stranger. I was not voice acting him even nearly close to what he's actually sounding like. Not that I was voice acting in the first place. Nonetheless, it is funny to finally hear his voice. Again, I try not to jump to conclusions here. I am willing to dabble in a slight bit of sanctioned, heretical study, let's call it. Yeah, that feels good. To use it to our advantage. So, correct. The Inquisitor sent me.
Your arrival is timely. I just finished my rituals of perceiving.
I'm sorry, that's... Did you perceive my arrival? Is that what happened? Amor whistles. Inquisitor Millicentilia isn't squeamish about the tools she uses. He's brought in a Xenos sorcerer, and right under Septima's nose.
Heresy. The heresy of pride, which spurs one to believe in one's own exceptionality, and the heresy of consorting with the enemies of humanity.
Okay, Sauron's going to be a problem for us, and I might need to deal with that. But we have succeeded in this lore Xenos check. You're one of the Aeldari, sentient, highly evolved Xenos, enemies of humanity. Okay, fair. So you're the Inquisitor's associate whom I was supposed to meet. What kind of sorcery did you just use? To business, you should have information for me, or attack, because death to Xenos. No, let's... I feel like, again, I'm the type of guy who, when they know something, they feel like they need to let the world know they know it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I know what I'm dealing with. I'm smart. Yeah. You're one of the Aeldari, sentient, highly evolved Xenos, enemies of humanity. I imagine he says that with a bit of, charm.
You have guessed my race, but I am no foe to you or your tribe. Inquisitor Millicentilia and I have forged a temporary alliance, one that benefits us both.
I must admit that the Inquisitor has always adhered to a principle of tolerance toward alien species capable of communication.
So, you're the Inquisitor's associate whom I was supposed to meet, then?
Judging by your reaction, Inquisitor Millicentilia did not deign to enlighten you about the identity of her associate.
No, she did not. Probably was worried about the potential reaction. Now, what kind of sorcery did you just use?
I sense a semblance of the gift in you also. But it would not allow you to master my talents, even if I tried to explain them to you. We are too different, small creature.
Now, is that him able to tell that I'm a psyker, or is that because I've been touched by the Tyrant Star? I do not know. But to business, you should have information for me.
Inquisitor Millicentilia wished to know if sorcery was involved in the disappearance of her underlings. Sorcery of a special kind, which has its source in the darkest corruption. I hear the echo of what your kind calls the Empyrean. However, in this sound I discern not the foulness of that which the Monkey call the arch-enemy, but ancient fatigue and the malevolence of a twisted mind.
Empyrean. That's another word for the warp. I mean, I mentioned a few words for it in the first episode, but that's another one. The Immaterium, the Imperium, the Ether, the Sea of Souls. A lot of them listed right here. Nice. Nice. Nonetheless, we've acquired a lead about the missing expedition here. The Aeldari believes that the disappearance of people from the excavation site is not as a result of the actions of ordinary mortals. Now, what's interesting to me is, would I have learned that by some other means, or is this the only way? Because if I chose to attack him, and if I chose to kill him, what would happen, right? What would come of it? What would come of this information? Would I come upon this information? Anyway, tell me more about this Echo of the Empyrean.
It is powerful, all-consuming, and at the same time, feeble, like the sigh of a song lost in a labyrinth. Sorcery of monstrous power that served its purpose, whatever it was, and then vanished without a trace.
Yet another lead acquired here. The Aeldari claims to sense echoes of incredibly powerful warp sorcery at the excavation site. It's going to be trouble for sure. The malevolence of a twisted mind, but not the archenemies.
Your people are too young, and your perception of existence too rudimentary for you to comprehend the Empyrean in any depth. I will only say that the corrupting forces from beyond the veil hold sway over many creatures. There can be no doubt that the secrets of such species lie buried in the past of this sector. Secrets whose very revelation would imperil your feeble mind.
God, it is exhausting having him talk down to me. in a good way. Like, it's fitting. The investigation is straightforward. But I have a slew of questions about you, Aeldari.
Save your breath. I am a Wayseeker, and I am here because Inquisitor Millicentilia is offering me protection on my mission, in exchange for my gift. Those who follow the path of the seer among my people are much more attuned to the Empyrean, and our manipulations of it lead to far fewer consequences than your fumbling. Inquisitor Millicentilia has chosen my skills over the assistance of one of your witches.
Okay, now he's talking down directly to me as like a specific part of who I am, liking him less and less, and not because he's a Xenos, but a Wayseeker. What is that?
I am a guide and navigator for my kind. My gift enables me to chart courses through the webway, and in real space. There exists another application for my gift, but that knowledge is of no use to you. It concerns only my people and our sorrows.
And what is your mission? What are you doing on a human world?
Your kind cannot hope to genuinely claim ownership of any planet, small creature. And I am unwilling to reveal the reasons for my presence here. Suffice it to say that I am seeking a path to salvation out of a ring of darkness, away from a peril far greater than the discord between our species.
I like that I managed to actually make him open up a bit more than he was initially intending to, but I'm interested in an ancient Xenos species that is somehow connected to the Tyrant Star. Do you know of it?
I can guess what you are referring to. The echo of their songs whispers across this world, and here as well.
My name is Partilius, and I could use your help with those ancient secrets we talked about earlier.
Come to your senses. Do not make this mistake.
Sorrow. There are things far bigger than either of us right now.
Perhaps you could have received it, were it not for my arrangement with Inquisitor Millicentilia. I have no interest in the company of a monkey that will simply be underfoot. Larthir. My name is Larthir Canereth, small creature.
And with that, he walks off. Oh, and there's the Inquisitor. Well, everyone's made everyone's acquaintance, I suppose. Do I have a follow-up? Yeah, I have a few. Let's see if we can't speak a bit more to Larthir first.
Is there something you wanted from me, small creature?
You mentioned in our last conversation that you know of an ancient species of Xenos associated with the Tyrant Star.
This part of real space conceals many secrets buried beneath the ashes of the ages. Before your kind came here on their campaign of destruction, the local worlds bore witness to many civilizations, but one stood out. There is scarcely a planet in this region of space that does not bear traces of it.
It seems we can be of use to each other. I promise to help you find what you're seeking, and you will help me in my research.
If you can convince Inquisitor Millicentilia to pass her obligations to you. And this time, the monkey will aid me first. I will not wait until I have exhausted my usefulness in your eyes and you attempt to betray me.
Wow, he's just kind of like painted us all with the same brush, huh? Fair enough. How do I know you won't leave as soon as you get what you want? I mean, that goes both ways. That's a dumb question. That's exactly his concern with me. That's a dumb question. Alright, agreed. I'll make arrangements with the Inquisitor.
I will be interested to see how you fare in your endeavors.
And with that, I must go. Let's continue our investigation, and then we'll talk to Millicentilia with a bit more than what I've got so far. What's going on over here? Can we all move together? There we go. Go ahead and examine. The crates scattered around the camp have been crudely forced open. If there was ever anything of value inside, it's already been pilfered. Go ahead and scan.
Registering evidence of forced access to the storage. Incident classified as an act of sacrilege and subversion of the authority of the Holy Order. Entry archived.
I suppose we can install another invoker over here. I hope the game's not like setting me up for failure, you know? I hope it's not going like, you actually set those up, you fool? Jump to conclusion much? Go ahead and examine this one.
At once.
The ground is covered in iridescent stains. A thick oily stench clogs your nostrils, but cannot completely mask the smell of blood soaked into the dirt. Suspense. Go ahead and scan.
Registering signs of a confrontation between two armed groups.
Surely 3 invokers should be enough to triangulate the entire story. Or perhaps not. What's going on over here? Roll away the tractor. Tech use. Sure. That takes us to the upper level. And what do we have here? Nothing in the container except for the smell of ethylene that makes your throat itch. The workers could not have used up the entire supply of explosives. Someone must have stolen it from the excavation site. Alright. More progress in our investigation, it seems. This is an expedition tent temporarily occupied by the Inquisitor. Alright, let's roll this tractor away first. Tech use of 75. Should be manageable. Sorrow is the best for it. Let's go. Access denied. Shameful. Shameful.
Reconnoitering.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. What else have we got? Spot over here. Let's take a look. Bit screen's lumens flicker furiously. Someone must have angered the machine's spirit. And some goodies to pick up over here. Let's go. Some foreman's reports. Layers of rock removed. Disciplinary violations, unsanctioned beliefs. Spreading. Turns out there is some information in there. Let's take a look. Oh, we can further analyze the data. This is cool stuff. Okay, let's see what this gives us.
The investigation of the evidence provided the following information.
Addendum 1. New information added with regards to missing expedition. Source being research. So if we take a look at it here, according to the foreman's notes, some members of the expedition had begun secretly following the teachings of the flock of repentance. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I touched on that ever so slightly, I suppose. Didn't realize it was so important. But here, the Aeldari believes that the disappearance of people from the excavation site is not as a result of the actions of ordinary mortals. We picked that up recently as well. Let's take a look at the field camp here. Warp sorcery. Yep. Crates of Fisseline. No further research we can do or anything, but whoever took the crates may know what happened at the excavation site. Very well. And here, Marisportum Sectoris. Thought we'd already taken a look at this. Why is it highlighted? Oh, that's separate. Ooh. The divers killed the expedition members for ritual purposes and disposed of their bodies in the sea. That's what we learned. What does remove determination mean? I guess we get a set of conclusions for the case, and we can choose which one we think is to be the truth, I guess, and then what this allows us to remove ones that we're willing to eliminate. That's my best guess. I don't want to fiddle with it in the middle of this session. I'll maybe poke around between sessions so that I'm not accidentally, you know, ending this investigation prematurely or something like that. But let's push forward and inspect this extremely questionable looking sigil as we see somebody short-circuiting down there. Anyway, we'll take a look at that shortly. First comes this. The religious symbols of the Marisportum fanatics have been sketched by an inexpert and trembling hand, a clear attempt to imitate the real thing. Okay, fair enough. We jump down here. Anything of value here? Doesn't seem to be the case.
Moving.
Ah, I had a feeling that there would in fact be a case down here. Just needed a successful awareness check. And, I mean, this stuff is worth some money at least. Up we go. And let's take a look at this. The servitors at the bottom of the pit have frozen in unnatural poses. There are no apparent signs of damage, and yet they seem to ignore all commands and make no attempts to return to the camp. Very well. We're able to climb up here. Looks like there's some stuff to pick up. There's a literal ladder here as well. Some filtration plugs and a las gun. We'll grab it all. And let's inspect this here. Use our wits to the best of our ability.
Effective as always.
Large four-toed footprint is deeply embedded in the ground. Mud around it does something or the other. Let's take a look at these strange tracks. Someone was attempting to cover up the presence of strange creatures at the excavation site. Yeah, this is a little concerning. It could be mutants. What I'm leaning towards right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Servo Sentinel, don't mind if I do. Someone has ripped out the sacred circuits from the guts of the cogitator. The console is shattered, and a bundle of sparkling cables protrudes from the casing. I need a melta charge to demolish this. Oh, I guess we might have to go shopping then. I mean, if it's a required piece of equipment, then why not simply give it to me? Or not let me leave the port without picking it up? I guess actually this isn't an early enough quest for that kind of a thing. In the actual game, I believe there's a whole prologue section that we haven't seen, but let's go ahead and inspect this tent here.
Best to try a different approach.
Inside the fallen tent, the metal of a portable regicide board gleams in the dark. The owner never got to finish their game. Sounds like we failed that? Doesn't say here, but he said best to try another approach or something, didn't he? Oh, hang on. Did I not install the invoker here? Does this finally reveal the events to us? Yes, it does. Or it will. Who ransacked the camp? Well, first let's investigate this. Or is that the same old site? That might be the same old site. Oh, okay, all of these answer different questions. I mean, I don't mind that we went around the entire space before unlocking all of this, because we did get to pick up some loot and find some other things that might need solving down the line. But yes, let's go ahead and... How did I miss that? Check this one first. Who was attacked at the excavation site? Oh. Oh, interesting. Maybe I missed this because this wasn't there earlier, and it only became available once I went around and got a bunch of potential answers to these questions. So who attacked, and who was attacked? A large four-toed footprint is deeply embedded in the ground. The mud around it has been churned up to cover the other tracks of the four-toed intruders. So bog beasts sounds likely. Bandits. The old man's gaze suddenly clears. The Baron's orders were that no one was to come near this place. Those armed intruders, they looked like his lot. And then there's the fanatics, based on the foreman's reports. This is pretty cool. Okay, this is
No sense in delaying.
this really kicks it up a notch when it comes to playing as an investigator. I actually need to be paying full attention and making my conclusions and stuff like that. Who ransacked the camp? The bandits, the bog beasts, or the fanatics? And is there another? Yes. Why are there tracks from work boots here? The expedition members left the camp. The expedition members were taken away by force. The work boot tracks do not belong to the workers. The bog beasts attacked the workers and dragged away the bodies. I don't have any reason to believe that the work boot tracks do not belong to the workers. Let's go ahead and speak to the Inquisitor first, just to see if she reveals anything further. I doubt this broken servitor has anything to offer. Covered in notches and wounds, someone methodically carved patterns into its flesh with a knife. So, I mean, this looks like an imitation, like a poor imitation, right? So, I feel like they're framing the, oh man, I'm liking this a lot. This is a lot of fun. Okay, so this is an imitation. So, it feels like somebody is trying to pin blame on the fanatics. And I mean, they've got their problems for sure, and they need taken care of, but we don't know for sure if they were involved in this, and it seems as though they're being framed for it. So there's that. Now, if someone's framing somebody else, presumably they have they're human or human equivalent, sentient, I suppose. Bog beasts don't sound particularly sentient. So I feel like maybe the Baron's men are involved in this, more so than whatever these creatures are. And in fact, these four-toed footprints could actually be maybe fake as well, or otherwise irrelevant to the raid that happened here. Let's go with that theory. And I'm curious how this responds to our theorizing. So, who was attacked at the excavation site? I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, see, the bandits are an option here as well, even though the old man said armed intruders looked like his lot. They were the intruders, though. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it was expedition members that were attacked at the excavation site. Jeez, you know what? I should have been paying a lot more attention. I should have been paying a lot more attention. Missing expedition. According to the foreman's notes, some members of the expedition had begun secretly following the teachings of the flock of repentance. So if they could be putting those sigils down intentionally and they're just bad at it. That's potentially the case. But the Aeldari claim that there's warp sorcery afoot, right? And crates of physaline missing from the excavation are crates of physaline, a dangerous explosive likely used by workers to quickly remove obstacles and clear debris. Alright. Already looked at the foreman's notes. And this feels tangentially related. The strange tracks. Someone was attempting to cover up the presence of strange creatures at the excavation site. Again, is that related to... It's related, obviously. It happened in this area, but is it tied in the same way? I'm going to say the bandits attacked the sites. And then the work boots. Maybe they don't belong to the workers. That would be the most curious answer there. And finally, who ransacked the camp? The bog beasts took the supplies. They came in afterwards, whatever they are, and cleaned house. I don't think the fanatics were actually here. Maybe some of the new believers were among the expedition workers, but not the fanatics that are up up on the surface, if you can call it that. It's a tall hive, right? So I'm gonna say the bog beasts took the supplies, and let's see what that does for us. Yeah, the crates were crudely forced open. But anyone can crudely force something open. The ground is covered. All the blood soaked into the dirt.
Keeping my eyes open.
Oil. What do we got here? Tracks left by steel-toed work boots, intermingled with numerous other prints. Maybe they were taken away by force. And yeah, see, these things have been not just crudely opened, they've been like really aggressively opened. So I think the bog beasts are involved in this.
At once.
Were the fanatics attacked, perhaps? Hard to tell, right? Thick, oily stench clogs my nostrils. Let's stick with expedition members here. Now, I'm not sure if us having done this is supposed to trigger something. Yeah. I need to reconstruct these events correctly. Alright, this could be challenging. Ooh. A fragment of the column is splintered off and the metal near it is melted, both pointing to a shot from a las weapon. So if it's las weapons, yeah, it's probably the bandits. I mean, those look like las guns doing the attacking. Maybe the fanatics are the ones who were attacked.
Moving.
Expedition members taken away by force? I don't think they just left. I think they were taken away by force. And this thing's still freaking out, right? Someone angered the machine spirit. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to the Inquisitor.
Here's the acolyte. Lathier has already informed me that he told you of his findings. I dare say what he told you might even be the truth.
Standing close by, the Xenos does not react to the Inquisitor's words. His gaze is distant, staring past you, as if he is listening closely to a melody only he can hear. You could have warned me that your specialist was a Xenos.
What difference would it have made? Lathier and I have an arrangement. He is one of my secret tools. Like you, only more valuable.
Really don't have to be that rude about it, honestly. You can, you just be nice. Seated on an awareness check, you cannot help but notice the thrum of tension in the Inquisitor's tone and the look she casts at the Aeldari. It seems that despite her confident words, she is anxious about the Xenos' presence in her unit, most likely due to the dangerous proximity of a Sister of Battle to the excavation site.
An Ogren with enhanced intelligence. You don't come across too many of those outside the Astra Militarum. Interesting escort you have.
Don't even try to compare. Don't even try to compare.
They usually tells me I'm smart. Not that I'm interesting.
I would like Lathier to join my retinue. I'm willing to take over your agreement with him. I question the witness. Ready to discuss what happened at the camp. Oh, okay, so I did have to lay this out and then maybe discuss things with her. Or I will return later. Let's first talk about Lathier here. I'm not sure if I'm ready with the excavation site's conclusions. Not sure if I'm ready. Thinking. Let's start with Larthir. And we might be ready with the camp like solution here, but I want to deal with this first. I would like Larthir to join my retinue. I'm willing to take over your agreement with him.
Out of the question. As of yet, you've not proved yourself capable enough to be permitted to have dealings with the Xenos. Did you think I would entrust a Corsair ally to a bumbling incompetent? Provide me with the reconstruction of the events, and I'll consider it.
Fair enough. I question the witness.
Do you plan to inform me every time you sneeze? Draw your conclusions and submit a full report, acolyte.
Okay, I deserve that one. I'm ready to discuss what happened at the camp. I'm fairly confident about my conclusion. Probably about as confident as I can get right now. I might be missing some evidence that could help me if I, had a melta charge on me and I could, blow up the thing to the corner and push a bit further. But she's giving me a lot of attitude, and you know what? I'm gonna rush things along a little bit. I'm ready to discuss what happened at the camp.
Are you sure you have not missed anything?
Oh no, you tapped into my one weakness here, Millicentilia. Being asked if I'm sure. God damn, I'm sure. I have a working theory. Yeah.
You think my camp was ransacked by bog beasts? An interesting theory. Well, why not? We will look for bird-headed mutants wearing Inquisition uniforms.
Hey man, I said it was a working theory. I mean, she says why not, and it says it's a new lead. I don't know if I'd call that a lead. I feel like it needs to be a bit more concrete for it to be a lead, but okay, I'll take it.
It seems there was a skirmish in the camp over supplies, but I am not yet convinced of your conclusions.
Okay.
What about the strange footprints you found? I assure you, there are no four-toed mutants in my expedition team. You think threats from some ragtag bandits would induce an armed Inquisition expedition to leave their posts? I find that hard to believe. Some of your conclusions are tenuous. Too tenuous. I cannot rely on inaccurate information.
Hey man, they're not necessarily ragtag bandits. There's an entire political layer happening in this pit. The Baron seems to be rather important. I don't know. Okay, so clearly she's not a fan of. What did I say about the four-toed footprints? I'll check that again. So she seems on board with the bog beasts being the ransackers. And she said she's not convinced about my conclusion about the skirmish, but I did get a new lead out of it. I did not get a new lead out of the other two things. So I'm a little uncertain about, like, when she says I'm not yet convinced of your conclusions, is that her saying, yeah, sounds good, now prove it? Or is that her saying, nope, this doesn't sound right to me, like she did for the other two? Everything else indicates that we've had 2 successes and 2 failures. Nonetheless, let's see what she goes on to say.
Your emissary's conclusions are tenuous because the tracks at the excavation site contradict each other, whereas the truth is not what it first appears. Someone took pains to ensure that the traces left behind would sow confusion in the mind of whoever might attempt to unravel this mystery.
That's what I was saying. There's some greater plot, and somebody's being framed for something. Arthur is certain that what happened at the camp is not as it seems.
I knew there was something you weren't telling me, Corsair.
I saw no reason to state that which is so obvious. I should have not forgotten that I'm dealing with Monkey now. this small creature has reminded me.
Either way, we have one indisputable piece of evidence. The tracks leading out of the camp. Look, they are crisp, clearly made by heavy work boots. But I already said my people would never leave their posts willingly. Find out where they lead. Can you manage that?
I thought... No, I can't remember what conclusion I set there. I'm going to have to watch it on playback. But it sounds like whether we got it all right or not, things would have progressed. Now I'm really confused. Like, would we have gotten this conclusion regardless? Did it benefit or not benefit me? We'll take a look at our journal afterwards as well. Nonetheless, workers' footprints over here. The work boot tracks left on the dusty ground lead toward the elevator, the way out of the field camp. Very well.
Something strange is afoot in Maris Portum. My agent, Rufinus Scraig, has been working undercover in this God-Emperor-forsaken place for several months already. We were due to meet at the excavation site, but the latest seaquake cut off our communication. Track him down and help him with his mission, if necessary. Tell him that Lady M sent you. He will aid you in your investigation.
Lady M. Alright, fair enough. First, let's take a look at this journal real quick. So this is a different case on the trail. What is the current status of this agent's mission? Rufinus Scraig, sorry. What a name. Agent of the Golden Throne from Inquisitor Millicent Tilia's entourage, works undercover, investigating the outskirts of Maris Portum. Well, that's where the sister is as well, so we'll do those at the same time. But I'm sticking to this for the time being. What's up with the field camp over here? Camp shows signs of a skirmish between the bandits and the fanatics. There is certain that what happened at the camp is not as it seems, and the camp was ransacked by bog beasts. So these have both been added from the reconstruction. Excellent. Workers' footprints were not. Okay. Let's continue this conversation. You want me to waste time on his mission? What about the missing workers? Or how will I recognize them? Or am I permitted to know the particulars of Agent Scraig's mission? I can imagine the answer to that question. How will I recognize him?
Rufinus prefers to cover his face, but if you pay close attention, you will spot other signs. His augmented lower left leg, or his tattoos. Memorize them, acolyte. This is how my people recognize each other.
Very well. We'll keep this in mind when we pursue this, I suppose. You want me to waste time on his mission? What about the missing workers? I get the feeling we have to engage with all of these options.
You are wasting time right now asking stupid questions. Scraig has been keeping an eye on Maris Portum. He is a valuable source of information.
Apparently not, if he needs rescuing. Am I permitted to know the particulars of Agent Scraig's mission?
I tasked Scraig with investigating a clan of swamp mutants on the outskirts of the Hab Zone and assessing their usefulness to the Tyrantine Cabal. These are his reports. Study them. That will be enough to start with.
Well, hello. So you're familiar with these bog beasts. The agent is studying a clan of so-called bog beasts who have settled on the outskirts of the Maris Portum sectoris. We've learned about the agent's mission, and we've got the agent's report. Okay, we'll dig into those further later. Succeeded on a Xenos lore test. A quick scan of the reports leaves you in no doubt. The bog beasts the Inquisitor is referring to are a clan of Xenos, the Kroot. Evidently, Millicent Tilia and her people prefer to use this unsophisticated nickname given to the Xenos by the ignorant lower hive dwellers in order to rid the clan of unwanted attention or, perhaps, somehow use the Kroot to their own benefit.
Any other questions?
Well, I guess we've done the reconstruction successfully enough. Is that the implication here? I'm curious. I'm going to have to look up other people's solutions, or you guys can let me know what you did if you've been playing the beta as well. You can let me know if your conclusions were different and what happened for you. Or I guess I could reload this save and play it again and see what happens differently, but I prefer not to have the the illusion removed quite so crudely. These so-called bog beasts. They're Kroot, aren't they?
Clever. Indeed, it refers to the Kroot, carnivorous Xenos native to a different part of the galaxy. This clan is settled on the outskirts of the Hab Zone, and has been under observation by the Ordo Xenos for some time. Keep its existence a secret, until the mission is complete.
Very well, and since we're done with the reconstruction, can I take over your arrangement with Larthir? We can be useful to one another. And you can stop talking smack about me.
Very well. I am not opposed. Canereth?
Time will tell if this small creature can live up to his word. For now, I will trust my instincts and consent to changing the agreement, on the condition that he assists me with some unfinished business here in the settlement.
Fine. Acolyte, now Larthir Canereth is your burden to bear. Do not expect it to be easy. Offering protection to a Xenos is risky. Don't be afraid to mention the name of Anton Zerg. His patronage will help you avoid the wrath of people like Septima.
Speak with me in the place where we met. I want to discuss exactly how your newfound patronage will benefit me.
Well, I'm ready to begin investigating.
This case is not as simple as it appears. Do not rush to any conclusions. Turn over every stone in Maris Portum before you send your case report. Your task is to dig until you uncover the truth, not to pin the blame on the first person you meet. Find out what happened to my workers. I hope you understand me, Acolyte. Oh yes, and one other thing. I advise you to visit Sister Septima's camp as soon as possible, before she loses her patience and sets fire to this Hab Zone, along with any crucial evidence. Beg and barter with her, inveigle her, be at her beck and call, but do not allow the Sister to run rampant. When the void rats scatter, the Gearinx goes without supper. Remember that.
How real is that suggestion? You know what I mean? Like, is there actually a timer out there? Or not a timer necessarily, but a certain, number of events or some trigger that actually makes that happen and actually destroys evidence that could influence our investigation? Like, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Because I am very curious. And
never still for long.
I can't adjust my my speculations here anymore or anything. Let's head to the not the Inquisitorial journal, but a regular journal, just to see missing persons. We've conducted the investigation. I got check marks across the board here, so it's not like the game saying, nope, you got part of it wrong, you're done. Nothing like that. So did we get it all right? I'm so curious, endlessly curious about that. Now I can send a report to Inquisitor Millicentilia, but I need to make sure that I have everything figured out properly first. Must submit a written report on the case once the workers have been located. Well, I'm not there yet. The vital status of the targets is not important, so they can be dead. Note the time, place, and circumstances of the submission of the report are at the Acolyte's discretion. Cool. Explore Maris Portum in search of clues. Missing persons have been reported throughout the Maris Portum sectoris. The Acolyte must investigate the Hab Zone, interview potential witnesses, and conduct a thorough analysis of the information obtained. Very well. That's our Inquisitorial case. And then, of course, there is the general Echo of the Unearthed. We still have to find Sister Septima. And here there's the hypothesis that the trail of footprints may belong to Inquisitor Millicentilia's missing excavation workers. So we can examine the tracks and maybe follow them somewhere. Can I examine these tracks? Or do they go further up and then I can examine them up there? And it looks like I can try again at the tractor? No. Very well. I feel like we've explored everything to death down here. I do need to speak to our Xenos friend, whom I believe I met down over here, right? So let's talk to him. I don't think I can get him on board, like, in my party and walk around with him up top. But, I guess let's see what he has to say.
Inquisitor Millicent Tilia wished to know what happened to her underlings. While exploring this place, I have discovered many mysteries, buried secrets, hidden songs. They are here, beneath the ground, waiting for someone to listen and unravel them. Some are connected to the Xenos you asked about, but not all of them. The melodies of these mysteries rise to the surface in places where the veil between the Empyrean and real space has worn thin. I must reach these places and perform rituals to hear what is being said in each song. They are located in areas where dwellings of your kind are concentrated. Millicent Tilia's entourage calls this place the Marisportum.
Marisportum, but it's under the watch of Sister Septima of the Adeptus Sororitas.
Did you suppose that helping me would begin and end with your fine company? You were mistaken. You will find a way to ensure that no one interferes with my mission.
The inhabitants of Marisportum will be terrified at the mere sight of a Xenos.
No. The intelligence of the local monkey is insufficient to recognize a member of another species in this guise. They will take me for a distorted version of their own kind, a mutant. The white-haired monkey whom Inquisitor Millicent Tilia is so keen to avoid, however, it would be best if she and I did not meet either. Not yet, at least.
Again, I wonder if I can make that meeting happen. Now, what kind of rituals will you be performing?
I will turn all my attention deep underground, to songs forgotten by time and hidden by the ashes of generations. When those songs find a listener, they will reveal to me the mysteries that echo beneath our feet.
Millicent Tilia just jettisoned her agreement with you too easily.
She seized her chance to get rid of this burden as soon as I was no longer needed. That cannot surprise you, surely.
The helmet turns to you. You cannot see the Xenos' face, but you can almost feel his frustrated gaze resting on you. Yeah, a little, maybe unfair of her, but hey, you are just a tool for me to use. And I'm hoping that the answers you seek will help find the answers I seek. So let's begin. What kind of places do you require?
A place full of life. A place imbued with emanations. A place hidden from prying eyes.
Xenos deviousness in action. Fine, we'll manage somehow.
I admire your stoicism, small creature.
I'd like you to tell me what you learn.
To what end? Our mutual aid does not entail any additional social rituals.
I need to gather information for my report. Or... no. I've put my trust in you. I would like you to trust me at least a little in return. That's all.
Trust is a precious gift. I have yet to see if you are worthy of it. But your desire to know more is laudable. Yes, I will tell you what I discover. Come. When we draw close to one of the places I seek, I will hear an echo of one of the songs, and I will tell you.
Why not? Why not? Taking a huge risk here. Absolutely huge. I guess that's why we were able to find Aeldari equipment relatively easily. Didn't we already come across some, if I'm not mistaken? Let's take a look at your inventory over here, buddy. That looks pretty baller, not gonna lie. Resistant Aeldari armor. He's got himself a frag grenade, a Medicaid kit, Aeldari power sword, and oh boy. Like he can work from range as well if needed. weapon skill of 60 though, so ideally he's working from not range. Alright, very well. We've picked up another passenger, it seems. Hopefully he's more than just that, though. And I guess we can make our way up, follow this trail a little bit further, and see where our investigation takes us next. Examine the tracks leading to Marisportum. I wonder how we can leave him behind when we go to engage with Sister Septima. That's what I'm most curious about. That's what I'm currently, at least, most curious about. There is also this other inquisitorial case, the Observer. We have to find Agent Rufinus Scraig, carrying out surveillance of a clan of so-called bog beasts on the outskirts of the Hab Zone. And are they the very same outskirts as where Sister Septima is operating? Says she's got a fortified camp on the outskirts of Marisportum. So perhaps we go to... well, first we go up top. We investigate this trail for as long as we can. We continue to ignore the missing sergeant, because I like having a giant Ogren with me, right? That'll probably come in handy. Then we'll head out to the outskirts, where we can seek out Sister Septima, but as we go to do so, try and find Agent Scraig, and maybe see if we happen upon some bog beasts as well. But folks, all that and more is probably going to have to wait until next time. I think this is where we'll call it a session. We've just completed the investigation at the excavation site. We've brought on an Aeldari operative, and all that feels like a good time to call it. We're just about at that hour mark that I like to try and keep these to. And it's kind of really interesting to see that we are now 4 hours into the game. Sure, moving a little bit more slowly than the average player because we're reading everything and engaging with a lot more stuff maybe than normal in some cases. But we're roughly 4 hours into the beta and still haven't seen combat yet. That's kind of cool. I actually really like this investigative lean. I actually like that. Well, I like all the mechanics I've been exposed to in this episode and in the previous one as well. Honestly, this is playing very differently than I'd anticipated. I expected it to focus around a lot of action and, you know, hunting Xenos and demons and this and that, with a bit of investigation, with a scratching the surface level of investigation. But that was foolish of me. It's Owlcat, so of course it's going to go much further than that. What was I thinking? This has got me. I was already excited for this game to come out, but that excitement it's gone up to 11. I'm super pumped. But folks, like I said, you know, we're going to continue playing this beta a little bit more. Initially, I was thinking it'll just be a couple or a few episodes, you know, 3, 4, or 5, something like that. But as we go on, I'm starting to feel like it's going to end up being closer to like 10 or something. I'd like to at least get some combat in. Hopefully there's some around the corner. Hopefully you guys aren't watching going, "What are you doing, buddy? You should have been here 2 hours ago." But I don't think that likely. I mean, again, yeah, going a little bit slower here and there because we're getting caught up in conversations and, you know, poking around where maybe I wouldn't normally if I was just playing straight. But I am curious to at least get some combat in. I'm curious to maybe try and complete at least one investigation, and hopefully, you know, that takes us to about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 episodes, something like that, and we'll call it there. I don't want to drag this on indefinitely because I know the beta is quite large, and I don't want to experience too much of the game in this beta state before, you know, diving into it in its full form, like I've said countless times before. But folks, if you've been enjoying, if you've been watching along, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. And again, if you have been watching along and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, you might want to consider doing that, just like I mentioned earlier in this episode as well, because there's plenty more of this to come, both now and in the future, and there are other strategic and tactical games that I'll be covering on the channel too, of course. With all that said and done, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.